1, 2, 3.
Welcome to the Mental Reps podcast, featuring your host, Brian Wright.
We have so much good that radio has given us, and we don't lose perspective of that. Like we said, we have so many life highlights, but let me ask you a real question. Looking back, we're both casualties of basically some extremely questionable decisions from the very top of the ladder. We know it was like the horse and buggy situation to begin with. Digital is where it's headed, but this was just a brutally mishandled situation. There are way too many super talented people out there out of the job. And you know I'm being kind here. So
1,000%.
What are your thoughts on the whole thing, man?
Our guest this episode is sports broadcaster Beast.
You hit the nail on the head. The powers that be have made some horrible decisions in the past 3-4 years. It's just mismanagement, miscalculation.
Are we pissed?
Yeah.
This week's episode is sponsored by the Field Irish Pub Eatery, a little piece of island in South Florida.
That situation was completely man-made because of the cockamamie agreement they made with another big company. It was taking on way more than they could chew. It completely changed the dynamic. Every aspect of our working culture completely changed. So that was all preventable, and that's what makes me upset.
Now fade out that fresh as beat, and let's get this bitch on the road.
Welcome to Mental Reps Podcast. I'm Brian Wright. I hope you are happy and healthy. Thank you for listening, watching on YouTubes, wherever you might be enjoying the show. Quick episode for you today, but if you're a fan of the show or you'd like to throw some support our way, go check out the new and improved mentalreps.net, giving away 50% of the proceeds from the merch sales to Neighbors for Neighbors, awesome local nonprofit doing amazing things for people in need. So when you go to mentalreps.net and purchase something, it's contributing to a great cause as well. You can also make a huge difference by making a small monthly donation to the show. You can do this by contributing to our new Patreon page for the Mental Reps podcast. I'm giving out exclusive content, personalized shout outs on the podcast for the lower tier members, all the way up to yearly one-on-one interviews to be released on all the platforms for the God tier members. I have tiers starting as low as $3. So go help us out if you can. We really appreciate it. Huge shout out to our first Patreon, Frank Rogers. I just went to go see Bill Burr with him the other day. It was a God tier level set. We were both in awe, like our face hurt after that. Shout out to Frank. Really appreciate him, and Lily Skipper, Kyle Wright. We love you guys, and thank you for helping us out on the show and contributing to the Patreon. My guest today is an old coworker and pal of mine, and if you've listened to sports radio in South Florida over the last 20 years or so, you've heard this man's hot takes on all things South Florida sports. He's doing big things now, planning for his future. We get into that a bit. We also get into the state of radio, his exit from radio, which he had some thoughts on. And he has some interesting thoughts on the whole thing. He used to toss me some shifts on 790 back in the day to produce Heat games and whatnot. And we introduced some bands together at Riptide Music Festival. We were stuck in the radio station during Hurricane Irma, working together, maybe having a libation or two after our shifts, and telling a few stories about old coworkers and whatnot. I used to walk up to his studio while he was on the air, lift my shirt up, and press my nipple against the glass just to get a little reaction from him. Just good stuff all around. He's a good guy. Most importantly, really, again, good guy, good father, and hell of a South Florida sports fan. So part 2 is coming up next week. But for now, I hope you enjoy part 1 of my chat with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Beast. But first, you should know the drill by now. South Florida's authentic Irish Pub and Eatery, The Field, the best Irish pub in South Florida. That is my opinion, but not mine alone. Many have it as well. I love this place. I just had drinks with Sean, the bartender, today. I love these people. Good salt of the earth human beings running a top-notch establishment. We're talking multiple bars, full bars, Guinness, and much more on tap. Best Irish American cuisine in South Florida, like shepherd's pie, bangers and mash, the corned beef, the cabbage, Irish potato soup, but also steaks, chops, fresh seafood, and vegan options So no excuses for your emaciated, fedora-wearing friends. Live music, Wednesday to Sunday, lots of Irish music, and I've taken over their Tuesday nights. So come say hi. I'm either putting on a comedy show or themed trivias, live podcasts, and you can come out, meet the neighbors. But if you're staying in, still want that authentic Irish experience, fear not, love. Go to thefieldfl.com. Enter code word reps20 for 20% off your entire online order. Again, thefieldfl.com, code word reps20. All right. Bills are paid. Everyone's happy. Let's get to the goods. Please enjoy my chat with Beast. What's up, brother? Welcome to Mental Reps Podcast. How you been, dude? I'm here with Beast. What's up, man?
Good, Brian. How are you, man?
I'm good, dude. It's good to see your face, bro. I miss running into you in the hallways and whatnot, and talking shit, telling lies, as Kenny Walker would say.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, I definitely miss seeing your face and hanging out and being backstage at Riptide and
Everlast, wasn't it?
All that stuff, yeah.
Yeah, dude, that was a fun one, man. Some of the life highlights, right? Looking back, I mean, you're definitely up there at the top of like, the life highlights. Seeing these bands come out to these incredible crowds and get to introduce them and whatnot is pretty cool. You know, I wanted to ask you really quick before we get into all that, because I definitely wanted to ask you about the radio and whatnot. But are you still coaching your son's soccer league?
So I took off 2 seasons, a fall and a spring, because I just wanted to give him some space to be his own dude and not have me barking at him from the sideline and feel like, dad was giving him more crap than the other kids. But I think I'm ready to jump back in. The season starts in about a month, and I think I'm ready to jump back in to be the coach. And we'll see. He's a teenager now, which brings about, all your listeners who have kids will understand that once they hit those double digits, and especially the teen years, it's a whole different monster, man. And the things that were issues when they were younger aren't issues anymore, but a whole new crop of issues pops up. And the father-son, the father, mother, son, the son, mother, father relationships all get a little bit interesting in the teenage years. So
for sure.
But that also means that all his friends and all his soccer teammates are also teenagers. So it might be hell, but I enjoy the hell out of coaching those kids. So
yeah, you gotta find that very gratifying.
I'll be honest with you. We've had some good seasons, but we've had more not so good seasons than good seasons, and it doesn't really matter. Just being out there with the kids and going through the practices and the games and just getting to work with the kids has been unbelievable.
Yeah, man. That's what I was actually talking to Channing one day about that, because he was coaching his son, and he was just saying how much, gratification and how rewarding it is, like, to just see these young men not just like improve on the field, but off the field. You see them become young men and improve. I mean, that's pretty cool to be able to see that and be a part of it with your coaching and, advice and all that stuff that have an effect on young men. That's huge.
Yeah. I mean, young men, young women, just young people, just to be able to, listen, I don't know how much I really get through to them in the life stuff. You hope you do. You hope some of the lessons that you're trying to teach gets through.
I bet you do.
When they're younger, definitely they're more impressionable. When they get to be older, I'll try to put this as politely as possible. Like, their parents, good or bad, have an impact more than I do.
Oh, dude, I can imagine.
And sometimes it's hard being a coach and my wife's a teacher. She has to fight, through it every day. for a lot longer than I do. But
Respect.
sometimes you have to fight through that situation where mom and dad, or mom or dad, or dad or mom, or whatever, mom and mom, dad and dad, whatever the combination is, or just a mom or just a dad is, maybe not setting the best example at home, and then they show up to your soccer field or your football field or your baseball field or your basketball court or your classroom, and now you've got to try to handle that. And
why doesn't Timmy have more minutes?
Well, it's not even just that. It's just like, when a kid, last time I coached, they were all, 11 or 12, right? And you had 11 or 12-year-olds get into fights on the field or dropping F-bombs, and it's like, where does that come from?
Yeah.
And then you hear like the mom or the dad doing the same thing on the sideline, and you're like, oh, that's where it comes from. I have to fight through that, because that kid's getting a yellow card because that's what they're dealing with at home, and now I've got to try to get through to them that, hey, that's not going to help you, but it's also not going to help. So some of that stuff is hard to deal with, but I still love it. I just love having those kids and have a blast with them, and play soccer and try to do it to the best of their ability, but also just have fun.
I love it, man. By the way, you wouldn't be able to go horizontal with your camera for me, would you?
Oh, I can go in any position you want. Is that
how dare you? Let me see. Actually, now it's got you, maybe since it already started that way.
Hold on.
Oh, we lost you. Let's see if we can go landscape. Oh, there he is. I need to see you in full Technicolor, bro.
There we go.
But no, I gotta say, man, I love seeing your posts with your kid, like at the barber, getting a fade. You guys going to the movies. Like, I could tell you're a good father. Like, I see you out here, dude. I see you out here.
Yeah, I try to be. I mean, I think I do a good job. My dad was a great dad. There was a time when his work took him out of state, and so he wasn't around a lot listen, I'm better off than kids that grew up without a dad or in much worse situations. But, my dad wasn't around a lot when I was in high school. But when he was around, he was awesome and taught me a lot of things. He's still my best friend to this day. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to, be there and support my son in any way that he needs. And sometimes you just have to let him do him. And sometimes you have to step in and be the parent. And you got to find that fine line. But just, I love my kid's great. I'm not going to sit here and tell you my kid's the best kid in the world, because every parent's going to say that. But I got a pretty great kid. He's an only child, and as I say, we got it right the first time. We didn't want to tempt fate.
I understand that. Probably a good choice.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I think that's wise. I think more people might ought to do that, because they see these certain people popping out so many kids. It's like, just, one or two is okay as well. It's cool. Back it up. But I want to talk more about the experience that, we both had with corporate radio and whatnot. But are you still doing classes at Lynn University? You're going for your MBA and media management graduate degree?
Yeah. So, we found ourselves in a pandemic, and I found myself corporately dislocated from radio. And I tried out doing, switching fields to the retail educational space, and the pandemic hit, and furloughs and layoffs and money situations. And, when you're in a job that is, it's dependent on sales and, kids, after school type of program, and there's a pandemic and parents aren't so willing to drop their kids off, it becomes tough. And so unfortunately that didn't work out. And no one could know that, who knows who knew there was going to be a once in a lifetime pandemic, right?
Yeah.
So at that point in time, I'm like, okay, listen, we're all shut down here, we're all just locked up, and I don't know what I'm going to do next. It doesn't seem like radio is going to be in my future, at least from a terrestrial, like, traditional standpoint. So what can I do? Well, I never thought, there's a lot of people that are in our business that never even got their undergraduate degree, and that's fine. Like, a lot of people went to broadcasting school or just was an intern or just picked it up, however, here or there. You don't really need a degree to go into radio. I always felt like, well, I didn't really know what I was going to do when I got into college, so I was getting a degree just to better myself, and I didn't know what my future was going to be, and ended up graduating the University of Miami with a broadcasting and political science degree, which basically means I have a degree in talking a lot about bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And so that got me through. And then the pandemic hits, I'm out of work, and it's like, well, what can I do? I need to be ready for when this, we all thought, oh, the pandemic's gonna be over and blah, 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 and economy's gonna be thriving. What will make me ready for this new post-pandemic economy? And I looked at my skill set, and I have a lot of skills. I was in management, in broadcasting, was on the air, I was behind the scenes, I was all over the place. But I just felt like, listen, I need more, because I don't ever want to work for a big corporation again. I want to be able to either work for myself or be in a position to be a high level executive in some sort of way, shape, or form. Yeah. I didn't want to have to answer to 17 bosses and get memos from corporate in a different city anymore. And I said, the only way that's going to happen, even though I'm 44 years old at the time, is I've got to go get a graduate degree. And it's something I never, ever thought about, thought I would do. It just never was going to happen. Like, it just wasn't a thing. Like, I know a bunch of people that went off to grad school to get an MBA or a law degree or whatever. My Jewish mom always wanted me to be a lawyer or a doctor. That didn't happen. She's still crying about it 25 years later. But I said, listen, I gotta, shift the paradigm for me. And the way to do that, at least, listen, it's different strokes for different folks. But for me, it was to look for a graduate program that would benefit me. So I just started, it was like 3 a.m. one night, I couldn't sleep, got out the phone, started Googling, and it turns, I was like, okay, listen, I kind of want an MBA that'll prepare me for life and business, no matter what it is. But, I have all this media broadcasting background. I don't want to throw that away. So how can I tie the two in? And as it turns out, Lynn University it's like a double graduate program, MBA, media management. And at the time, they completely switched to having a program online because of the pandemic. And so I got lucky with that because I don't live in Boca, I live in Broward. Mm-hmm. So I literally emailed somebody, they got back to me. I filled out some forms, got my couple of old professors from the University of Miami to write a rec. Got in, took out a bunch of loans that I'll be paying back till the end of time. And I'm supposed to graduate in December. I did what's supposed to be a 2-year program because it's double degree. I'm doing it in 1 year.
Damn, dude, good for you, man.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
I graduate in December with this MBA media management graduate degree, and hopefully that opens up some opportunities and gives me, what I need to succeed in whatever the economy looks like at that point in time.
I love that, man. I love to hear that like, there's a lot of different things that you could have done there. But like you said, I have the skill set. I could do a couple more things and really hone in on, I understand that not wanting to go back to corporate radio thing. And, it's a complicated situation right now. So what are you said that you were looking to maybe be like either an executive or have your own company. I know that you do your own things, but what are some of your goals and aspirations, say, for next year? You're going to be graduating in December. What do you want 2022 to look like for Beast?
That's a good question. And the way my brain works, every morning I get up with a new idea, right? Mm. And it's like this great idea, what have you, that I gotta go down this path. And then the next morning I wake up, oh, what? But wait, what about this? And so right now I'm kind of, listen, I'm so busy with this degree, with life. I'm doing some work, doing some consulting work for a friend I know. I'm also helping my dad grow his business up north. And, I've got a million things going on. And so I've basically just told myself, listen, get to the end of the year, put all your time and effort into studying, getting good grades, getting this double degree, getting done with this program, and then see what's out there.
Yeah.
And I'm wide open. I'm open to all opportunities that may come my way. I'd still like to have a hand in some sort of, media situation. Hopefully not corporate, but whether it's me doing a podcast or me doing my YouTube channel or joining someone else and doing something or whatever it is. I'd still, I still have that creative part of me, but another part of me wants to be entrepreneurial and have an impact that way as well. So
good for you, man.
One of my best friends back in the day always told me, and this was when I was young, I was in my 20s, and all I did was eat, sleep, drink, breathe, radio, right? That's all I did. Even when I wasn't working, I was working.
Mm-hmm.
I was at the station till 4 a.m. producing stuff. I just didn't stop, probably to my detriment. And one of my friends took me aside and said, dude, the best thing you can do, because he kind of could see the future, especially after deregulation happened. And he said, listen, this radio thing, especially in a big market like Miami, it's not Dubuque, it's not Tulsa, it's Miami, it's a, number 11, number 12 market. This is a big market. Radio's not gonna be there forever. Things are gonna happen. He's like, if I were you, go get a job that pays the bills, that you love, that you don't mind being at, and then do the broadcasting thing on the side as a hobby, so that you still love it. You don't burn out from it. You make whatever money you're gonna make from it, but you don't absolutely kill yourself over it, and then you end up hating it. And the end up hating it part has happened twice now. So.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you about. Sorry to interrupt you. Just because, why not, have an honest talk about it? Because fuck it, these are just our humble perspectives, But obviously, we have so much good that radio has given us, and we don't lose perspective of that. Like we said, we have so many life highlights and so much that we got from it. But let me ask you a real question, because I know how I feel about it. But looking back at our exit from radio, I guess I'll preface it with this, because we're both like casualties of basically some, extremely questionable decisions from the very top of the ladder. Okay. I think that's, and let's be honest, when we get to the brass tacks of it, it was more than just like, hey, this is radio. You lose your job. Sometimes you get cut. It's how it goes. Radio, we know it was like the horse and buggy situation to begin with. Digital is where it's headed, but this was just a brutally mishandled situation. There are way too many super talented people out there out of the job, and I'm being kind here. So, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the whole thing, man?
I will tease this. I'll give you my general perspective, but at some point after Labor Day, I'm going to do a sit down with a bona fide journalist who is prepared to ask me all of the hard questions about my 25 years in radio. And so you'll see that at some point. But what I'll say is you hit the nail on the head. The powers that be have made some horrible decisions in the past 3-4 years as it relates to corporate radio. It's not just one person or one company, it's a lot. It's 3 or 4. A couple of them have already declared bankruptcy once. The one we worked for is probably next. It's just mismanagement, miscalculation. And I think,
are we pissed? Are we pissed?
Yeah. Because listen, when I was let go from radio the first time, even though there was definitely ulterior motives and politics and circumstances going on, that I'm not going to get into here, but at the time it was in the middle of the Great Recession, right? And so you could make a case that financially, like they had to do what they had to do. The issues that at least our former company ran into, their layoff started in November of 2019. That's when me, Kimba, and Jade got let go on the same day. That was well before there was a pandemic and an economic collapse. So it was already in the works. Yeah. Right. So that situation was completely man-made. And it was because of the horrible decision that our former company made in this cockamamie agreement deal they made with another big company, and it was taking on way more than they could chew, and it completely changed the dynamic, the just every aspect of our working culture completely changed. And I don't want to badmouth. I don't want to badmouth like new people we got involved with, but the way they did things and the way they acted and the way their culture was completely different than the way we did things, the way we acted, the way our culture was. And I knew that going in because I had worked at the other place, so I knew what was going to happen, and sure enough, it did happen. And so that was all preventable. Yeah. And that's what makes me upset.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. And I think, at least from my perspective, like, we both had friends and mentors that did their best to keep us on, like, as long as they could, but their hands were tied as well. Like, at least for me, John O'Connell, he was let go not long after I was. And, and like you said, these companies are still kind of doing like their thing or whatever. And, we both have friends that, like you said, whether they know it or not, still kind of hanging on for dear life for these jobs. But these jobs should have far more stability than that. They deserve better. And so did we.
Yeah. There's no doubt. The thing that it's tough because, you follow me on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, whatever. I'm pretty vocal in bashing the radio industry. And me having to take these classes in financial management and managerial accounting and financial accounting and all of this stuff has only made me more upset because now I can go dig into SEC filings and public records and understand what the hell is going on. Yeah. And when you see it in black and white on a page, before I would just go sit in these high level meetings and webcasts and get smoke blowing up my keister and be like, oh well, yeah, I mean we're kicking ass and taking names. But if I knew then what I know now, I think who knows if I might have gotten out earlier before they did it to me, because when you look at what's on paper, you get really upset because it's like, do the people that work there really know what's going on behind the scenes? Because it's all there. You can go to the sec.gov website and go learn about your publicly traded company. And it's bad. It's really bad. Yeah. And so I feel bad because I keep saying this on social, and I feel bad because I'm not sitting there trying to make people that work there feel like, their job is in vain or that they should feel shitty. because I have all the admiration for the world for the people that still work there.
Yeah, we
It's
love the
just that-
job too. It's just
yeah, no doubt. Like I am so grateful for the 25 years I had. It's just that, they really need to
don't put all their eggs in that one basket.
Yeah, like you really need to have a landing spot, because listen, it's gonna keep going. What happened to us is not stopping.
It's like that false sense of
gonna be worse.
security that you can kind of get lulled into. Yeah, definitely. I mean, as somebody like you said, as we love the medium, I'll be honest, I had some opportunities to get back on the air. I don't think I want to at this point. It doesn't pay what it should. I'm able to generate more income just hosting like an event or two, like in 1 week, than I did all month on the air. And it pays decently hourly wage, but then you only get 4-hour shifts, and it's just like a whole thing. You should be getting, like, I would be lucky to get 2 to 4 a week, and like maybe 5 or 6 if I'm really lucky. Then they want you to do a million other things for free, let alone if you get on salary, then it just takes up all of your time. You have no life outside of the station, which is, I mean, it's exciting, but like, really limiting. And it's just really unfortunate so many people have to, look elsewhere when they should be slaying it on the air. And our friends who are still doing their thing on the air, or hopefully getting some backup plans together. I don't know. That's
yeah, no, I agree with you. And I listen, so I spent most of my time on the sports AM side. Although if you ask me what I would rather do, it would be to jockey the discs, if you will. I'm a music lover. I always, like almost more than I am a sports guy. But that's what I got into. And it always blew my mind, when one of our colleagues would be in the production studio voice tracking, a weekend shift, a 6-hour weekend shift. And I would be like, oh, so, this is a 6-hour shift. That's, that's a pretty good Saturday. And then you find out, oh no, they get paid like 3 cents for all that work and going to do that. And it's like, man, how is that? Like, this is not like, what the hell is that?
Normally we'd end up getting paid, like if we were lucky, you get paid like half for the voice tracking. Right. And sometimes if you did 6-hour shifts, they'd say, well, you only can charge 2 hours for that. And it's like, really, you're going to nickel dime on that 1 hour when you're doing 6 hours of voice track? Well, I'll say this, man. I mean, because I know you got to go soon, but I'll sum it up with this. At the risk of sounding, cliche, I think sometimes we need these doors to shut on our face so other ones can open up, and we can often, fight the whole way because it's like we like things being the way they are. But I often, do my best work when things are looking a little bleak, I think. And sometimes we need to reboot and recalibrate, and I see you doing that.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Like, I think all of us thought that we'd get into this job and it would be our job for life, right? Like, when I was named sideline reporter for the Miami Hurricanes, back in 2001 or 2, I was like, this is it. I have my dream job. I'm only 24 or like 25 or 26. Like, this is it. Yeah. Like, I'll do this for 40 years and I'm done.
I'm so jealous of that, by the way, too, man. That was my dream to go to UM, and you did it, bro.
Yeah. So like that was it. I was like, I have my dream job now. Like, I've reached the pinnacle, right? I mean, the only other dream I ever had was like hosting a wacky morning zoo FM type show. Mm-hmm. Those don't really exist anymore. But yeah, so like I was like, I got it. I'm 25. How lucky am I? But then crap happens. Yeah. And the paradigms have to shift. And so yeah, I think the one thing that I've learned, that we can all learn, that everyone should learn, is don't put all your eggs in one basket. Even if you're an accountant and all you know is an accountant, right? And that's a pretty steady gig. You never know what's going to happen, right? So always have something on the back burner of like, what will you do if X happens? Because that's having something that you can pull out of a pocket in time of need, like a break glass in case of emergency situation.
Mhm.
That's going to help you. And also, don't be stubborn. I was stubborn. I wanted, the first time I got let go, I only wanted to do radio. I didn't want to do anything else. And I probably cost myself God knows how much in salary, and also like how much in, emotional breakdowns, because there was nowhere else for me to go. Be willing to not be selfish and not be stubborn, and try something else out that's fun. To like be willing to try other things.
I see you pivoting out here, dude. I see you got your YouTube channel, The Beast on YouTube, and the social media Miami Radio Beast still out there if anybody wants to go and give you a follow. I see you out here, dude. You're still doing your thing.
Yeah. No, listen, I'm always going to be creative and create content, and I'm going to have hot takes on the social media and all that stuff. That's never going to go away. Now I just got to figure out how to, pay the bills. That's all. It's just a little thing. Tiny little thing.
Well, dude, I'm ready and willing to hop on, producer, support anything that you got coming up. You know that I support you, dog, and because I know you'll do it right, and you're gonna help shine a light on all the things that I love in the sports world, and I appreciate that. So, well, here's the thing, dude. I mean, I had some other stuff planned, but I know that you gotta go. I was gonna ask you a couple sports questions, but if you gotta go, I'll let you go, and we'll do a part 2 or something.
If you want to do a part 2. Just hot take sports, we can do that.
That's what I was gonna say, because I got
for you, Brian, like whatever it takes. And you're at the field, and I'm kind of jealous. I love that place.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we gotta get you on a live podcast there too, man. We have fun.
Yeah,
we got people in the audience.
It brings me back. I don't know if you know the story, but real quick, I'll get you this one before I leave.
Okay.
So when I left the first time, I was approached by Neil Rogers' producer, George Rodriguez, to join what he had just started, which was SoFloRadio.com, which was, it was digital audio before there was digital audio. We were podcasting and streaming and doing all that in 2010. And this was, before all this was popular. Like, people were looking at me like, what the hell are you doing? And we used to have our staff parties at the field, and we threw a huge, day before Thanksgiving shindig at the field that was packed. We had a band.
Yeah,
it was
buddy.
Unbelievable. And so that place means a lot to me. George is no longer with us, RIP, man. And so sometimes I come across pictures on my Facebook memories of all of us from that crew hanging out right where you are right now. And it brings me back, and it brings me a lot of heartfelt memories, man.
I love that, man. Thank you for saying that, and I'll definitely pass it along. I do events there every week, and they sponsor the podcast, and they're like family. I've been going there since the fake ID days back in the day, so they're like
never
family.
Needed a fake because I was like bald and bearded at
Yeah, I gotta say, I was like 18, and I had friends who were 22. They get carded with their actual IDs, and they're like, "This isn't you." I'd walk right in.
Right.
Hey, dude, it was a pleasure, man. You're in the Mental Reps fam. We'll definitely get you. I gotta have you back within. Let's try and do it within the next week or something, because we need some hot takes, dude. I got all sorts of sports shit to talk to you about.
I will spit fire.
Fuck yes, dude. I want them beast hot takes. All right, buddy. Thank you, man. I'll talk to you soon. See ya.